not the paperwork. You should see this. It's like a small forest. There's nothing but paper. How long you been living in Edinburgh?
All my life.
Have you?
I know many things about Edinburgh. Political and the good things to go and see as a visitor. You know.
So tell me, what's the reaction from the residents of the city when the festival's on? I know, obviously some must be delighted, but I'm sure there's a big chunk who think, oh, I can't wait for this to be over.
Well, there is a general disinterest from the point of view that people will either go on holiday at that particular point in order to miss the traffic jams that occur in the city, which seem to get increased unnecessarily so every year by the increasing obstacles that this council, with its transport policy, seems to like to apply. It's like a kind of, every year it gets geared up to how much harder can you make it for citizens of Edinburgh to deal with the roads during the festival, you know, just to, you know, spice things up. They just make it harder every year.
Well, I don't know if you've got any plans to come south for the Olympics, but it's going to be a very similar situation. There'll be more cars than you can shake a stick at.
Yeah.
So listen, you called me about Vinnie Jones.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, he's got sort of half a hankering to be an MP.
Uh-huh.
So my question is, if they've got Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's the governor of California, Vinnie Jones has done a bit of acting, why don't they consider him for an MP?
Well, I think anybody who is hell-bent on hanging on to a basic thing and a quality that I would look for in anybody who's purporting to represent anybody is called integrity, and actually have the guts to do that. So I'm not interested in hearing spin doctors or people who have the gift of gab. I'm interested in hearing people who will present the issues regardless of any of those spin doctoring deficits, simply because of integrity. And, you know, if we had that kind of thing being reintroduced right across the political board in this country, I think we might get somewhere.
Well, one thing's for sure, it's not something which has outstayed its welcome, has it? In other words, it's not been used in politicians' parlance for too long. No, well, it's one of the things that probably when politicians are around too long, it gets lost. But for anybody that's, you know, sincere, I think it matters that the political system and the voters, you know, help people, whether they're independents or working on behalf of other parties, but nevertheless, you know, have a basic integrity, are helped forward with that integrity, you know. Mm-hmm. Have you got an appreciation of any bands that are based in Edinburgh that you like?
Musical bands? I am absolutely ignorant of music. Absolutely.
Because you sound as if you enjoy a bit of music.
Yes, but it's not something that I personally think about, actually.
No?
Give myself enjoyment. What I generally do is I'll occasionally switch the radio in the car, and I'll listen to Virgin or whatever's going on, and I like the older style rock music. If I hear anything that is a remake, I absolutely trash it to bits, because it isn't as good as the remake. In fact, I think there's only ever been one or two remakes that I've felt surpassed the original.
Thanks for that, John. Good to talk to you. Thanks for making the call. If you'd like to be part of the programme, we're talking about Vinnie Jones. Would you vote for him if he were perhaps to be your local MP? He's got a hankering to do it.
Yeah, it's 08704 20 20 20. And the Beatles, you might have heard this, are to appear on a set of stamps featuring images of their most famous album covers. The collection of 6 stamps includes the covers of Sgt. Pepper, The Lonely Hearts Club Band, Abbey Road, Revolver, Let It Be, and With the Beatles. So my question to you, straight from the shoulder, is there any other way, darling? No. If you're from Liverpool, or simply a fan, how pleased are you about this? Whole set of 6 stamps of Beatles album covers. I mean, that's such a great recognition for the band. Whether you're from Liverpool or just a fan, give me a call, tell me how you feel about the news. 08704 20 20 20. On the front page of the Times today, there's quite a disturbing story, because we were talking a little bit about this, I think about 5 o'clock yesterday morning. Hundreds of thousands of homeowners, claims Rosemary Bennett, social affairs correspondent for the Times, hundreds of thousands of homeowners are failing to keep up with mortgage repayments, raising fears that they may lose their homes as inflation rose just the other day to its highest in nearly 2 years. They claim about 770,000 households are believed to have missed 1 or more mortgage payments in the past 12 months. And last night, economists gave warning that the situation would worsen, with interest rates expected to rise next month. So what would your advice be now to people thinking about buying a property? And you can be candid with me. You don't have to use your own name if you don't want the mortgage company to find out what's really going on. But would you like to get out of the property you're in if you're maybe buying it by yourself or with a loved one, or maybe there's just a group of 4 of you or something and you've got together and you've got a 4-way mortgage? Would you like to get out of it? I'm Mike Allen. My number's 08704 20 20 20. Right. Do I have to pause here, Johnny? I've got to take a little breakette. Now's a good time to call. Unleash the fury. Just checking the emails, and I want to say very interesting comments. It's very interesting because we've been talking about some of these things about half an hour ago, and you've obviously sat and thought about it, and that's quality emailing. Thank you for that. Thank you. We were talking about who should be in the Hall of Fame. Jimmy in Bristol suggested UB40. I mentioned this because you might have just joined us. Pete Doherty from Jamie in Darlington, he said he's a living legend to the end. And Angus Young of AC/DC is recommended from Andy in Birmingham. AC/DC, the mighty AC/DC. We were talking about animals that could be replaced into the wild. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't really make sense grammatically, Michael. I'm just reaching for the story so I can read it to you. If you go down to the woods, beware of the animals, because the Wild Beasts Trust wants to see extinct native predators reintroduced to the countryside. Packs of wolves and lynxes could be illegally set free in parts of Northumberland and the west of Scotland, and the extremists want to release at least 6 lynxes bought in France, along with several wolves they're holding in secret locations in southern England. This is a report from the Daily Mail this morning. How would you like to see lynx, grey wolves, moose, walrus and bison released into the country? You're trying to get home one night, the car breaks down. How safe do you feel? Supposing you're not in the car, but it's your nearest and dearest. And they're saying, well, I'm in the car, darling, I might have to stay here all night, and all you can hear is, oh, in the background, So no doubt you'll be happy to talk to me about that. 08704 20 20 20. Claire in Glasgow. Hello, Claire. Good morning to you. She said, what happens when the animals move into towns the way foxes do now? Bet I hadn't thought that one through. Well done, Claire. Does anyone else feel like the world has changed so much in the last 15 to 20 years that it scares or excites them? That's from Mark in Birmingham, who's enjoying the show. Does anybody else feel like the world has changed, says Mark, so much in the last 15 or 20 years that it scares or excites them? Could you go along with that? Would you say yes? Yeah, I feel it's changed. Listen, you've got me, got my vote. Would anyone else want to comment on that? Email talksport.net. and the Hall of Fame, Paul Weller. This is from Sean on the M6. Hiya, Sean. Without question, Paul Weller. He's been on TV quite a bit. There was a time when you didn't see him on television. And he's so good, isn't he? He's just... Oh! Paul Weller, bring it on. Right. A great show, says David. But he said, I think Senna was the greatest. Oh, we're talking about racing drivers. Because the question was Michael Schumacher. He's decided to retire. And people seem quite divided about Schumacher. They either find him fascinating driver or just a bit cold and remote. We've just recently learned that he's given vast amounts of money away to charities, and I think that's terrific. But David thinks that Ayrton Senna was the greatest. If he'd not been killed, he says Michael Schumacher would not have had it all his own way. But he's still amazing. I did hear, and I don't mean this to destroy any images you might have about your favourite racing driver. Sadly, Ayrton Senna, of course, as you know, no longer with us. But he was alleged to have said to someone at one time he had the ability to see the track he was going to be at 2 seconds before he got there. Now, how you do that, I don't know, but I think that's incredible, don't you? I was impressed. You're listening to talkSPORT. Normally, Ian Collins is here together with Chesy. They're having a little bit of time off. I'm Mike Allen, just looking after the shop, doing a bit of light hoovering, you know. And Russell's called from Gateshead. Russell, hello.
Hello, Mike. How you doing?
I'm all right. It's a nice deep voice.
I've just got a story to tell.
Oh, good.
It's sort of a warning for other listeners and who see psychiatrists. I was about 2000 or 1999. I went to see my GP because I was depressed and stressed. And within at least 18 months later, I was on 15 tablets a day. 15? 15.
Do you know what they were?
They were all sort of there was antidepressants, there was mood stabilizers, there was all sorts of different things. And because I knew that it wasn't right, and the tablets that I was taking were making us more mentally ill than if I wasn't on the tablets.
Sure.
And so in the end, I went to my GP with a dictaphone.
Yeah.
I said, come on, are you going to talk or not? And he says, yes. And I says, look, I don't blame you. It's a psychiatrist that has me on this stuff. I says, I don't know how to get off it or, come off it nice that it didn't make a difference if,
sure.
I wasn't sort of taking it. But nobody could help us. In the end, I was sectioned, and a certain doctor made me his sort of, he made sure that I was all right.
Yeah.
But I would say to anybody who is having problems with a psychiatrist, and I mean, then I know they're very well educated, but they're not sort of street-wise.
No, they can find their way round a stack of forms and maybe talk to a committee, or a bench on your behalf. But streetwise, they're not.
Well, it's a hit and miss thing with psychiatrists. But I'd just like to say that I was so far gone on these 15 tablets that I regularly went down to the Tyne Bridge, and I was going to throw myself off.
Oh no.
And unfortunately, fortunately, the police came in, the riot squad put the door in and came to me rescue sort of, and then I was sectioned. And they wouldn't give us any medication because they wanted to know if I was just paranoid all the time or paranoid a little time.
Are you at home now?
I am, yes. I'm doing very well, actually.
Oh, good.
And that's all got to do with Dr. Bernard Brown at the Tramwell unit.
Well, if you feel yourself a bit depressed, one night or something, because I think the night times are the hardest, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Give us a call.
Okay, I will.
Just because you're on today doesn't mean you can't be on tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I would, if you did that, I think that you were putting some trust in me, and I'd wear it like a badge.
Yeah. I do.
Okay.
Okay.
Russell, speak soon.
Right.
Right. Grumpy Gran sent me... She sent me an email, she said. Very relaxed today. Alright, I'll buy that. Are we gonna... Okay, we've got a little break coming up. We've got the news headlines. The Beatles are to appear on a set of stamps. They're going to be 6 album covers: Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, Abbey Road, Revolver, Let It Be, and With the Beatles. If you're from Liverpool or just a Beatles fan, how proud does it make you feel? I can't believe whether they're the first band who's ever achieved this honour or not, but I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. 08704 20 20 20. I'm Mike Allen, in for Ian Collins and Chesney. They'll be back next Wednesday morning. Until that time, I shall be here looking after the shop. I do nice dusting, you know. After the news, we could talk about David Hasselhoff's revelation that late Princess Diana tried to have a relationship with him. Do you think he should be so candid? After all, she's a national institution. Sadly no longer with us, but he's here, complete with Botox. I don't know what will happen if he jumps on his bike too quickly on a cold day. Hopefully something unpleasant. This is talkSPORT.
On 1089 and 1053 AM.
This is my genuine belief.
Around the world.
I just said no.
Around the clock.
That is the clear message.
From the Sky News Centre. talkSPORT on the Hour News.
The top stories from the Sky News Centre at 2.
On 1089 and 1053 AM. talkSPORT.
Right. It's Mike Allen for Ian Collins and Chesney, and they're having a nice time. And we'll have a good time too. I asked you who you'd like to nominate to the UK Music Hall of Fame, and no one's mentioned this band until now. Pink Floyd. Ah, lovely. Marvellous. Didn't get a name on this one, actually. Just listener text. Mike, I would nominate Petula Clark for the Music Hall of Fame. She's been a top singer now for about 60 years. Yes, she must be, actually. Thank you very much for that. And Sue in Newark. Hello, Sue. Thanks for putting your name on. I can mention you now. Said I vote for Mickey Mouse if he was any better than the Muppets we have now when it comes to politicians. Why not Vinnie Jones? He couldn't do any worse than this present lot. Strange, wouldn't it? Mickey Mouse. Just coming out of number 10 and waving. I'd like it. Do you remember the other week we were talking about... I'm going to get to you in a minute, Robert, who's in Belfast. Just give me, like, 10 seconds, okay? Marvellous. We were talking the other week about these bins that put these sensors in. Do you remember? Okay. So we all had something to say about that. Householders now are being fined £100 just for putting out one extra bag of rubbish. Extreme new rules mean that any refuse that doesn't fit into the bin and is put out for collection by the dustman can be classed as fly tipping. And one council which has recently slashed its collections from weekly to fortnightly, oh, how sweet that must be. Rubbish hanging around outside. 2 weeks. Primordial soup. So they've switched to fortnightly, has already sent letters to residents warning them that if they place extra rubbish alongside their wheelie bins, then they'd be fined. Those that are hit with a £100 fixed penalty will have their details stored on a council blacklist. What are they going to do? Come round and say, we're not going to give you any more collections? And you can say, OK, well, deduct that from my council tax. I'll fly tip it somewhere else. My question to you is, if you have a party, yeah, say you have a barbecue, and I say that because there's chances there's more people who have a barbecue than you would have that come round and have dinner because you've got more space. So you have, let's say, 15 or 20 people. And guess what? That's a lot of empty cans and bottles, and it's a lot of stuff that was used as packaging material. So you're going to be one bag out. And that's what they're going to charge you, £100 per bag. I cannot believe it. Apparently it's true. What would your reaction be? 08704 20 20 20. Or text me on 81089 or email talksport.net. Robert's in Belfast. Hello, Robert.
Hello, son. All right.
Yeah, I'm good. Don't tell a soul, but I'm having a cup of coffee.
Are you?
Yeah, I say that because I'm not supposed to.
You like R.E.M.?
Yeah, I do, actually.
You do?
Yeah. You too?
We go back a long time now. And
I think we might do, actually.
it's all right.
Yeah. But R.E.M. are a little bit timeless, aren't they?
Ah, yeah, I know. Coldplay?
I'm not so familiar. I mean, I know some of the
Patrol?
Who?
Stone Patrol?
More Coldplay, I think.
Yeah, more Coldplay and your Stone Patrol.
Yeah.
Well, get away from that there, like...
I'm quite big on the Stone Roses.
Stone Roses?
Yeah. I used to use a track from them.
What about the Stones?
The Rolling Stones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if they locked me away with 8 tracks on a desert island, they'd all be the Rolling Stones.
But is that right?
Yeah.
You've good taste.
Well, I just like them. I like the energy that comes off their music.
Is that right?
And do you know that Gimme Shelter track? You know the way it starts? It's got like a violin and it's...
My mate can sing it.
Yeah? Well,
he went to New York this season.
Did he?
Yeah.
If you can imagine, one of the big moments of my life was being driven by a pal of mine who'd been lent this big, long wheelbase black Rolls Royce. And we were driving through London. It had been raining. And it had still raining, but it had eased off. And he stuck this CD in the changer. And it started playing Gimme Shelter. Oh, what a buzz. You had to be there, Robert. You had to be there. It was just a moment. And then the whole band starts up. It's fantastic. Yeah, you can tell I didn't like it.
You should have this on 24 hours, this show.
This show?
Yeah, should have. Big time. Yeah.
Well, I've got to get home sometime.
I know you have, but you know what I mean? You could take a break, like 12 hours, like.
Do you know, it's 5 hours, this show.
Yeah.
It's regarded as a hard row to hoe because you've got to stay awake, you know, at a time when your body's going, gimme shelter.
But it's good for people, like, you know what I mean, that wants to ring you up and views, like.
Oh, yeah.
With you.
Yeah, no, it's...
You know.
I enjoy it. I tell you, when I started in radio, I started doing this time slot. And I've done a lot. The last place I worked at, I was doing
we had a Northern Ireland guy with a shirt and all on from Radio 1, presenting a trophy at Winter Park during the week. Last week.
Really? No, I didn't see that.
You know who he is? No?
No, I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Well, he operates for Radio 1, but that's beside the point, like, you know.
Yeah.
He's not like your show. You gotta ring him up at early hours, like the morning, to speak to him. Not like yourself. No, the morning I'm talking about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like now.
Well, I can tell you the truth, can't I? I just had 1 hour's sleep in 3 days.
Is that right?
Yeah. And,
you know who that is?
Who, your mate Willie?
There's not many Northern Ireland DJs in Radio 1.
I don't know. I don't think.
With black hair. I think he has sometimes his glasses. He's not a bad guy, like, you know, so he's not. He talks like that, like, you know what I mean, and we're from Northern Ireland, like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But you know who I mean. But getting away from the point out there, you had a wee programme on there earlier, just before the news, and you're asking about people who was, having a bad time with mortgages.
Yeah, they reckon that 770,000, which is like 750,000, isn't it?
Yeah.
People.
6 weeks ago, I was getting put out of my house.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Repossession.
So what happened?
my family had to rally around and get me sorted out. And I was the nationwide for 21. Well, maybe.
Well, I tell you what. Don't mention the name of the building society again. Honestly.
Well, okay. I'm with a certain.
Be with a certain building society. That's okay.
No, it doesn't mean it's all past. It's paid off. So know what I mean. I'm not. Know what I mean. I'm not going to get you into trouble. Know what I mean?
No. It's that they might sue if you say something having named them. If you not name them, and you could have said they're the biggest load of rubbish, but the fact you haven't named them, that's okay. But as soon as they've been named, it gets expensive.
But if you were with somebody for 21 years, know what I mean?
Yeah.
And never borrowed anything off them, only your original mortgage. Do you think that's hard? Harsh. Would you think it's harsh?
21 years and you've never strayed?
No, they turned my mortgage from a interest payment to a
interest free.
No, interest fee payment to a full payment.
Oh, I see.
Without me knowing about it.
Did they?
Yeah.
And when you
because my endowment, my wife died.
Oh, you've had some rotten luck, haven't you?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really rotten, because that's two places. I mean, you lose someone, there's that emotional wastage going on inside you, and then your shelter, where you go back and sort of try and renew everything. That's
not
stolen.
Only that, when you've had a heart attack and a stroke 2 years back.
You did?
Yeah.
You must have been a terrible person in another life, you know, Robert.
Yeah. 2.5 years ago, saved my life in the Royal Victoria Hospital. So,
do you think you're stable now? Feeling a little bit better?
I have been through them. They're coming to put a stair lift in for me. I've waited 2 years to get a walk-in shower, because they said I couldn't use my bathroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the My Bones Society wanted to repossess my house.
Nice to know. We're not going to mention those boys again, because I think people heard them the first time. But I do wish you well, Robert. And if you're fed up tomorrow, give me a call. I'll be here. I'll look for you. All right?
Oh.
Okay.
Well, I like your show.
Oh,
really
thank
do.
you. Give us a call tomorrow. Just keep me up to speed. You're listening to Talk Radio. It's 08704 20 20 20. That'll be the number. In addition to that, you can text me on 81089. Which band should be nominated for the Hall of Fame, the UK Hall of Fame? Or you can email me, talksport.net. When you go into that, you know, you go through its process, and it's very easy. I was halfway through doing something today, talking about very easy. It was at home, and the mouse on my computer just started to play up, you know, it started to jam. So you turn it upside down if that happens, and you just put your fingers on the ring, first and second finger, and twist it, and the ring comes out, and you tip the ball out, and you use a screwdriver just to clean off the excess rubber and crap that's got engaged around the motivator drives. I sound as if I know what I'm doing. I'm pleased, don't. This is my best trick. So I cleaned it all and put it back together. It didn't work. And I thought, I can't be bothered to do this again. And this has happened to me before. So I opened the drawer of the desk and took out another mouse and plugged that in. And I, fully intelligent human being, I looked at the computer and I said, don't try that with me, baby. Nothing silly about me at all, is there? Nothing at all. We're going to take a pause and going to come back. I'd like to talk to you. Use this number. It's 08704 20 20 20. Now's a good time to call.